It appears the art community is slowly growing to become one of the most toxic communities on social media, where artists and art enthusiasts engage in what I like to consider as unethical mild interactions on platforms like Twitter, 4chan, and TikTok, arguing with each other, spreading hate and toxicity, and silently crippling the art community from within. While each of these communities are riddled with numerous problems that cause artists to metaphorically bash their heads together in a smashing duel of curse words and hateful art, I noticed a common theme that runs across all these social media platforms: hatred for particular artists and their art styles, and an increasingly growing number of fake artists running around posting images pretending to be actual artists, being disingenuous about what they're doing while casually farming for social media fame and clout, and ruining the expectations of young artists who are already having mixed feelings about sharing their art on the internet. Now, what is this hatred for artists and their art styles, you may ask? Well, now, my young children with the innocence of a 3-week-old kitten, art style hate is what happens when poor old souls decide to stigmatize an artist and the way they draw, particularly because of how they portray certain features in their art, which could for the most part be because the artist decides to exaggerate certain features of their drawing or use a certain color palette for their work. And then someone on Elon Musk's internet decides it just doesn't look right to them, or it goes against their pristine standards for art styles and the beauty of portraying different characters uniquely. Some other times, which rather happens more often than not, some people just don't like an art style or an artist's work because of the subject matter the artist chooses to make drawings of, leading to internet users piling up in large crowds, proceeding to declare to the artist how terrible their work is because he, she, or they did not draw their favorite anime character in all their glory. A bonus form of art style hate is one that I have been seeing going around the art community and is pretty unique to artists who get very popular. A mass majority of people begin to hate their drawings and paintings and then try to convince the rest of the artist's audience why their art style is not that great to begin with, or how the artist just draws only one particular face in their work or one particular pose in their work, or chooses to stylize their work more often than not. And here I was thinking artists had the right to express themselves and draw whatever they felt like when they wanted. Wow, silly old me. I should always remind myself the internet has changed now and we can't enjoy art the way we used to before without user I draw naked gypsies for fun commenting, "Your art sucks, you should go back to the kitchen," on a drawing he doesn't find appealing to him. Now, I know it's not all the time the audience happens to be wrong in most of these situations. Sometimes the artists themselves defy gravity occasionally and take the phrase being up to no good a little out of hand, resulting in terrible situations arising and half of the art community in an uproar as a result of their actions. The rise of fake artists, aka pretend artists, aka I have no skill so I'll rather let the machine do it for me, are growing in huge numbers and are slowly taking over the art community. And it's getting alarming. This person on Twitter found themselves facing a crowd of artists with stylus pens in their hands ready to draw them right into art jail after sharing so many outstanding paintings on their account, garnering thousands of likes and a truckload of comments from their fans dying to learn how they became able to paint like this and this and this, and wishing this absolute mastery of light and color could befall on them too in due course. Twitter art person who goes by Petra Voice was finally confronted and called out in broad daylight in the center of the metaphorical market square for faking a vast majority of their drawings, pretending they were actually painting and making art, and deceiving a lot of young artists who were looking up to them to learn their art style and adapt it in their own work. Fellow amazing artist and content creator Megan Ruiz made a tweet calling out Petra for faking their art to their followers and the rest of the art community on social media. This is the first time where I was completely fooled by someone using generative AI, and unfortunately, I genuinely like some of the images the machine spat out. It's so disheartening seeing someone get consistent attention on social media while using a tool designed to replace me. In the tweet, they shared some of Petra's most acclaimed social media hits, pointing out multiple red flags that could be compared to a stadium filled with fans of Switzerland's national football team, and highlighting the fact that this cute, innocent-looking art style was not only manipulated and generated with AI, but was in fact stolen from other artists who were already drawing and painting with that particular art style. But before we move on to the next part of this video, let me tell you briefly about the sponsor of today's video. Craftsy. As a person who primarily makes digital art and draws mostly on the computer, I find myself slowly getting bored and wanting to explore other forms of making art and painting. And that is precisely where Craftsy, the sponsor of today's video, comes in. Craftsy is an online learning platform that teaches you life-changing skills from cooking and baking to photography, drawing and painting, and even gardening if you're into growing things of that nature. I found most of their painting classes easy to follow and filled with lots of information, and I decided to try out this one that focuses on teaching how to paint realistically with watercolors and is taught by Anna Mason. I'm going to start challenging myself to paint at least 2 or 3 times every other day because, to be honest, this is my first time painting in years on anything other than a drawing tablet, and I'm kind of scared, not gonna lie. The beautiful people at Craftsy want to help you improve and make yourself proud that you learned a new skill, so they're giving the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. All the links will be in the description, and a big thank you to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. Both professional and hobby artists alike immediately noticed the charade that was happening and started responding to Megan's tweet stating their entire opinion on the situation as it unfolded. Whenever I have a moment of admiration like that, I know what I'm really appreciating is the dozens of real artists whose hard work was stripped away and blended by the plagiarist. Depressing, to say the least. This is the first generative AI to ever trick me too. I love the aesthetic, so finding out it was AI and I didn't know what artists were stolen from hurt me on such a deep ethical level. I started my own series called Muses. If AI steals styles from us, we can take it back. Megan's tweet immediately started climbing the heavenly stairs of internet virality, raking in a whopping 9 million views with almost 130,000 likes from artists who shared a similar sentiment with them, and also people who felt the post was uncalled for and was promoting a hatred on one of Petra's new posts where they shared their personal photo alongside their art. Petra happened to come across Megan's tweet and responded to it, calling them a hater and laughing at their face hysterically, hoping they slept well after calling them out and causing a scene online. Megan then responded, clearing the air that they had no ill intentions towards Petra and did not intend to harass them or send people to leave hateful comments on their work, and was only trying to clear the air and shed some much needed light on the rather precarious situation, so unknowing artists will be able to learn from it and differentiate what is real art from what is mass-generated media. Multiple other artists embarked on a journey into the unknown, trying to find all the other artists Petra was quote-unquote stealing art from, because a lot of people found the art style pretty attractive and really wanted to learn from it, and since these were rather AI-generated images, they wanted to tap into the actual source and drink from the metaphorical fountain of youth to breathe some much needed life into their own drawings as well. Different artists were brought up, and while some had a similar art style to Petra's work and shared similar color palettes and themes, there was a high probability of Petra including their name in the prompt while trying to generate their art. Some other artists who were also mentioned had slightly similar art as well, but were probably just a little inspired by it, and the resemblance was a bit far-fetched. So far, Petra has slowed down with the amount of art they share on their page, and a lot of young artists who looked up to Petra and enjoyed their art and had dreams of making similar art and becoming an amazing artist as Petra have had their dreams shattered all across the floor. Other artists are accusing the original artist who has a similar art style to that of Petra of using AI to make their art as well, forcing them to now have to defend themselves from the angry mob brandishing their pitchforks by posting a walkthrough video of them breaking down the Photoshop file of their work, so every assumption is cleared. Now that you watched that beautiful video of the artist's work, do you still think it was made with AI, or do you think the artist spent years learning their skill and mastering it just so they could be able to create amazing pieces like this? Frankly speaking, I think it's a shame we've reached the point where we have to ask artists for proof of them making art just for us to believe a simple drawing or painting was actually made by them. It's just so unfortunate, man. Take us back to simpler times when all we hated was photo bashing and tracing. At least there was a little bit of effort involved. Moving on from that sad tale of deceit and misdirection, TikTok artists are now under fire and being accused of using AI for their work as a result of this rampant rise of fake artists in the art community. This young amazing artist who goes by yuanstudios with almost 80,000 followers on TikTok is getting comments calling them out and claiming Yuan is using AI to make their art after Yuan made a video sharing their amazing art and asking their community to help them decide a fair price for commissions. Spiteful commenters left numerous bold accusations on Yuan's videos, claiming that the progress of their art didn't seem to make sense, since apparently it isn't normal for an artist to make small gradual improvements in their work over a short period of time, even after they clearly show the entire process of their work on their page.
I'm literally so sick and tired of seeing these comments on my video, and at this point I'm just gonna address it cause I personally think that this idea that people somehow have of me is so ridiculous it's beyond me. First of all, you say that the progression of art on my page doesn't match up to produce this quality of work. If you took even 3 seconds to look at my page, not only will you find pinned that I have a tutorial, but as well as live recordings of me drawing as well as speed paints. Now for the progression of my art, I hope you do realize that I'm not just pumping out these artworks like nothing. I worked hard during the summer of 2023 as I didn't have school to work on my art. That's how I had time to improve. I post new art barely 2 times a month, and what am I doing during that time, you might ask? Practicing. This is the progression of my art over the past year. Now chat, does this look sus to you at all? Because I don't know what you want me to do at this point. Live stream my every move. You're saying it's not AI yet, still accusing me of something. One more piece of proof: I have many of my friends IRL who go to school or work with me that have seen me work on my drawings in front of them, and many of them can vouch for me. I never hide or be deceitful with my work, and I find it quite disrespectful how many of you discredit me without any proof or not even knowing me at all. And I especially do not want to hear stuff like this from people who don't even do art themselves.
People can't fathom that progression doesn't look the same for everyone. They're just ignorant and expect everything to fit their ideal. Girl, don't listen to them anymore. Real ones know you're amazing. You were fighting for your life. Do they not know how art progression works? Do they not know artists don't have to post every single piece they draw? They're mad because your art is amazing and it isn't AI at all. Like, you can just tell, bro, it's not AI. While the majority of yuanstudios fans can tell they work hard to improve their work and deserve all the attention they're getting for their art, it seems somehow people just don't want to believe that people who spend time practicing eventually learn how to draw. So they choose to rather hate on their art or call them out for using AI. It seems this is becoming the new trend on TikTok now. If you find a young artist that somehow make really good art and is slightly better than you can't really say anything bad about their work, so you just resort to accusing them of faking their art to make yourself sleep better at night, causing the artist to start dealing with hate comments while you just go about your day like a normal person. How terrible could you be as a human being to tell people not to buy art from them because they're using AI to make their art, when you can literally see videos of them drawing on their page? Make it make sense. Just accept the artist is amazing and wish them good luck in their art journey. Gosh, people, is this what the art community is now turning into? Please get me out if this is what to expect when you just happen to think of joining the art community. The sting of fake artists has now slowly spread across other social media platforms aside from Twitter and TikTok, and a new wave of fake accounts posing as experienced character designers has crept into the Instagram art community and are slowly doing their rounds across the platform. And I'm not kidding, the first time I saw these character designs, I was instantly fooled into thinking they were drawn by a real person. Like, seriously, take a look at any of these images and tell me you don't think they were drawn by by a real artist. It's actually alarming how relatively good these AI prompt bros have slowly grown to become. They're casually trying to drive actual artists out of business. This Instagram page that goes by Captain Coca has been posting different redesigns and character sheets of X-Men characters one after the other, garnering thousands of likes and multiple comments. They usually go through different art styles for every design, and while we can all agree what they're doing is ethically improper, we kinda have to agree some of the designs actually look decent. If an average person who has no idea about art stumbles on this account, they're definitely going to fall into the trap thinking this was drawn by an actual person, just because of how convincing the drawings look and how close to actual concept art some of the images appear. This one of Black Panther actually looks hard. I think it's safe to assume that accounts like these might be the end of us actual artists, since it doesn't take much to learn how to write a prompt and get a valid result in a matter of hours while casually pretending you're drawing the images to whoever is unfortunate enough to hire you as a character designer on a project. Situations similar to this are surely on the horizon as more and more fake artists are getting called out, as artists are carefully looking at these new accounts that are all of a sudden springing out of nowhere, sharing art and trying to plow their way into making a career using all of their fake generated imagery. While some of these accounts claim they have been making art for the longest time and show their old work, other artists who happen to know what they're doing and where they're stealing the references from are debunking their claims as soon as they come out. It appears what some of these people are doing is tracing over the AI generated images so the resulting drawing will appear as if it was drawn by hand, but anyone with an eye for art can immediately tell when something looks off because the drawings still look cringe with weird muddy brushstrokes. This whole situation is just pretty stupid. Just let artists enjoy the process of making art instead of trying to take out all the joy in it. Artists are not trying to be perfect or make the perfect image. We embrace the flaws and imperfections in our drawings, and for the most part, we enjoy the process of stumbling and failing, just trying to draw the perfect little hand until eventually we find our eureka moment and make a drawing that we're actually proud of. We're not interested in trading that joy of creating an image for anything in the world. We embrace all the suffering and pain that comes from learning art and are proud of it, no matter how many times we fail or how many poses we have to learn to draw until we can get it right. I think there's a popular saying that goes, when you enjoy the process, your goal becomes a milestone, not a finish line. I don't know, that sounded like something a wise guy would say. Well, it looks like you've made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye!